I'm the only one in. If you need to postpone another bit, I will be watching for you to go live. Hey, Sandra, I'm live. I'm excited to be here. I'm always so excited to be here. The problem is the clock. I don't know where the minutes go. They dissolve, like sand between your fingers, but it's crazy. All right. Nice to see you, Sandra. I hope you're still here. So please say hello. Anybody that can hear me? I got my mic. Oh, it's a good thing I remembered at the beginning instead of at the end. So I'm thinking the best sound is going to be if I'm holding it like out here, because when I put it on my shirt, the sound kind of gets worse, doesn't it? It's better when I'm like this. I'll try it. If my hand gets tired, then I'll put it on my shirt or something. So, how are you guys? It's Friday. It's March 1st, finally. That took like forever and a day, or 28 days and then an extra day. One sec. All right. So, I did not make a video yesterday. I'm ashamed of myself, but I did a ton of homework and I watched a lot of the trial in the Rust case live yesterday. And I'm glad that I did because it's crazy. I don't think you can really get it unless you're watching the boring trial in slow motion, to get all the nuances and everything. So, this is going to get old holding the mic, but I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway for my people because I love you guys. Please hit that thumbs up if you'd be so kind. So, yeah, I was fidgeting around with all my set and I just can't help it. I love it so much. And I'm so happy to be like set. Like I have my own freaking studio and I'm not moving anything for anybody. No, it's my space. My space. Like FaceWall. MySpace was the predecessor to Facebook. Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Hey, Bex. Yes, it is afternoon. I know you're on the East Coast time like I am. And Sandra says, I'm sore from mopping yesterday, but well, thank you, Lord. Yeah, I know. It's good to clean house. Like I can't speak. Literally and figuratively. That's what I'm trying to say. Let's see. I've got my sign back here. I think you can see it. The Let Your Light So Shine. I did a lot with the lights today. Hopefully it's looking amazing. Like, what's up with this globe? Which one? I've got so many now. This globe, because it's like blue and green. And I've got a whole bunch of globes here. And then I've got a little globe over here, but you can't really see it. I don't know why this part of the frame like goes off into the dark. I don't know if it's because it's a bad laptop or what. But I had my super expensive Predator that crashed and burned after 4 or 5 months, and then got the runaround with the worst buy store that calls themselves the opposite of that. Anyway, so I have just like a regular type of laptop, and I got really spoiled by that Predator gaming level laptop. The color was so sharp and everything was sharp. Mark's here. Hello. And the puppy dogs are here too. And let's see. Good afternoon, Tiff Justice. Kylie won't stop. Hello, Mark. All right, you guys. I titled this one Sympathy for the Devil. A little remorse goes a long way. I think it's really hard for these narcissists to understand that. I'm talking about people like Scammy in the Kylie Rodney case. Just a little bit of remorse. People might have some sympathy for you. I'm calling you the devil, Scammy. And same with NK, and same with the producer star of Rust, and even the the armorer. Like, she just needs to say I'm sorry. everyone understands that she's young and dumb, made fatal mistakes, and I don't know why she didn't plea out. Maybe they didn't give her the opportunity. I don't know. Or maybe they just didn't offer her a plea deal that she liked. She's only looking at 18 months max, which really isn't a lot. If I accidentally unalive somebody, I think I would want to spend at least that much time behind bars. I mean, I'm just being honest. Seriously. A lot of times, you guys, and let me do my disclaimer, but first I want to say what I'm going to say so I don't forget. A lot of times, people can't live with themselves, like literally, and they get self-interest because of things like what happened with Halyna Hutchins. So I recommend people to step up to the plate. But the good news is there's some amazing, awesome people that were there working on the set who have taken accountability, you guys. Did you know this? There's some wonderful people, like the director. He's one of them. I think his name is Dave. And then the prop master, another one. So she quit the industry. But those folks have taken accountability because they know it's the right thing, and they know it's important for the family, and they know it's important for the industry so that people can learn from the mistakes. Like, beautiful. Like, imagine people being grown-ups and having remorse and showing responsibility. Is that like asking for the moon or something? All right, let me do my disclaimer real quick so I don't forget. Everything I say is simply my opinion for the sake of starting a conversation, hoping to open up a discussion, learn something, and grow and be educated by my lovely viewers. Thanks for all of the viewers, whether you're in chat or not. I appreciate every single one of you, the ones on the replay crew, as well as the ones catching me live. So now let me get caught up and start tagging some of your comments, because that is the challenging part. But you guys know I love a challenge. And my glasses, I'm going to need to clean them. So let me see if I can do this. What am I going to try to do? I'm going to try to, hopefully the mic will be just as good attached to my shirt. I don't know. Tell me if it's not, and then I can hold it. But it is really annoying to hold it, and I certainly don't want to hold it for an hour. And I am hoping to be on with you guys for at least an hour. So let's see how we can manage this. First, clean the glasses, and then I can read the comments. How are you guys today? I hope you've had a really good week. It is March 1st, so spring is really coming for realsies. Okay, I think I can see you guys now. Can you hear me okay with the mic right here? Should I just leave it there? And thanks so much for being first, Sandra. Thanks for being second, Bex. And thank you for being third, Mark. And fourth, Tiffany. And fifth, Annie Ruler. Am I missing anybody? No, I think we just have the six of us so far. So we are half a dozen. So yes, good afternoon. It's still morning everywhere except East Coast and in the continental US anyway. I can't believe there are no requirements for those roles on set, no standards. Yes, you can. I see the IDGAF all over them. Oh, man, dang. I don't even have to think for a moment to know what those letters stand for. Wow. Yeah. Hannah Gutierrez, I've mentioned I have some compassion for her because she is certainly being scapegoated, but she definitely has that IDGAF look on her face. And man, does she have some looks, doesn't she? She goes from looking like a ragamuffin on set to a porn star in a lot of her photographs from her social media that people have been digging up. And then to like the Laura Ingalls, or what's her name Foxy Noxy. She thinks she's Laura Ingalls too, trying to look all Puritan for the court. And yeah, you should definitely downplay it for the court. Absolutely. But when you see them go from all these different faces, it's kind of creepy because they're like chameleons. They're like shapeshifters. And did you guys see that amazing video that Prophetic Forensics dropped yesterday about the three faces? I made a community post with a still shot, actually 5 still shots, but I know most people aren't going to look past the one that's on top, and a link to her 4-minute video. And I asked her if I could do that. I thought she wanted it shared, but I didn't want to do that without asking her. So just so you guys know, I did get permission from the creator to put it on my community tab. Let's see. Yeah, I can't. Yeah. Mark Molina says, I blame all the people above Hannah more, and who knows if someone had a grudge. Well, it's purely my speculation based on the facts. I think that Alec Baldwin definitely had a grudge against Halyna Hutchins. You guys, I can't believe I've forgotten to mention this in so long. If I mentioned it, it's been like a year. Do you know that Halyna Hutchins charged double what most cinematographers charge? So I think the going rate is like $5,000 a day or $10,000 a day, but she charged $10,000 a day or $20,000 a day, literally double. So when the producer slash star of the movie says that there's all these budgetary concerns, it was only a $6 million budget. Well, why were you forking out the money for her? Obviously, she's good, but I just want to say she's also extremely good looking. And don't even try to tell me that Alec didn't have his eye on her, because I'm not buying that for not even half of a second. So, they went out to dinner when she first got there to the set, and who knows what their interpersonal relationship was like. But I know that there's a lot of flirting and harassment that happens in any work situation. And then you put a freaking movie star in there, and then you take somebody like her that looks like a freaking movie star who's behind the scenes, and the actual movie star might really think that he could have his way. I don't know. I have not talked about this in a long time because I don't like to speculate on things that there's not a clear foundation for, but just based on my life experience. And I don't think that there's any better educational tool than life experience. Nothing that you can learn in a book, nothing that you can learn from other people telling you, nothing that you can learn in a class or from anything other than hands-on. So I also think that there was a big grudge being held against her for resolving the issue that was unresolvable according to Alec. He said no. And no means no, especially when you're the boss, applesauce. So I take issue with him trying to use the money as the leverage, as the excuse, but that's what people always do. You know how they say, follow the money. And yeah, I totally agree with you, Mark, as far as blaming all of the people above Hannah, but like the director took responsibility. And then the woman that was the prop master, I don't think she was above Hannah, but she still took responsibility. I'm talking about the prop master with the long straight hair and like the real highlighted part by her face. I didn't write her name down, I don't think, but man, I think I'll be using a picture of her in my thumbnail because she had so much integrity. And that director, Dave, he has so much integrity. And all of these people testifying that actually give a flying F about Halyna. people that were there who are just horrified, and it's just a freaking nightmare. And then there's the people like the main star producer and the armorer who are so self-absorbed. Just have some compassion for the woman that you terminated, and for her son, and for her husband, and for her mom and dad and sister and everybody else under the sun that cared about her, because she seemed like an amazing individual. And Beck says it's good. Are you talking about the sound? Let's see, what does Annie Ruler say? I got to stay kept up. Zero difference, not holding mic. Oh, good. Yeah, I don't even know if the mic does that much with the laptop. It might be because the way I have the laptop, it's like up on a pedestal, that the sound is better. I think if I have it flat on something, then the sound is bad. So anybody who has issues with that, that might be a hot tip that I just thought of. And Mark says, yes, we hear. So I'm thinking that that must mean that you can't hear, because he loves to talk opposite. If it wasn't loaded, then he wouldn't have been able to just, and nothing would happen. And why were there half a dozen live rounds on the freaking set? There should not have been a single live round on the set. Like, that's the most absurd thing in the world. It almost makes me think that somebody planted the half dozen live rounds so that then they could say, oh, look, there's a half dozen live rounds out of the 100 or 200, however many dummies there are. And then using that as part of like the camouflage to try to hide the accident in, you know, like, was it one of these accidentally on purpose things? I think it was. I absolutely think it was. Hey, first time in days, I find the time to follow the live preparing dinner just now. Hey, Melanie, thank you for coming on in. Lovely to see you. Audio is good. And Pixie Knickers, what's up, girl? Nice to see you. You guys, Pixie Knickers, I think, was like one of my very first winners of prizes. And Mark, send me your email or send me your address, please, so I can send you a Justice A to Z cap. And you can choose black or white. Just send me an email, justiceatooz@gmail.com. I know you have issues with memory, so I'm thinking you probably just forget all the time. So I don't know if you can do it while we're live. And then put in the chat that you did it. That would be awesome, because I really want to send you your hat so that you can advertise for free for me. Just kidding. And Pixie Knickers says, I will be painting as usual. Hope everyone is having a beautiful and blessed day. Yeah, I would love to see your artwork, Pixie Knickers. I forget if you said you don't have a website. Good morning, Gatorman23. What's up? Annie Ruler and Pixie Knickers. Hello, hello. Dead Lady Jewish. She was kind of trying to keep it safe. Wait, what? Annie, I'm so curious what you mean. So you were the one a couple of days ago who asked if Halyna Hutchins might be Jewish. And I had no idea. The thought had never crossed my mind. So I Googled it, and the thought has crossed a lot of people's minds. I don't think that there's anything definitive that she was or wasn't Jewish, but it's quite possible. That could be an element. I want to say, though, having lived in Southern California, there are so many Jewish people in Hollywood that run productions. So it would be hard for me to think that if she is Jewish, that was part of some like anti-Semitism towards her, because you couldn't work in Hollywood and be an anti-Semite against Jews. You just couldn't. I don't think. I mean, maybe anything's possible, right? It'd be really rough. Agree, shapeshifters fake. Ugh, yeah. Yeah, it's creepy, isn't it? I mean, Hannah looks so cute in court and she looks so pure and innocent. And it's really creepy when you juxtapose that with how trashy and homeless she looked on the set with her green hair and just like a freaking ragmuffin. And then all these ridiculously over the top, super sexy, like Playboy pinup style photos that I'm thinking she must have put on her own social media. I don't know. I mean, where else would they come from? Okay, let's see. I'm going to get caught up. Many of them on set. Welcome into the chat, Melanie and Gator. Thanks, Sandra, for welcoming them. Halyna was a strong woman. Girl, you spelt her name all wrong. It's Halyna. I think I've looked it up so many times. So yeah, Halyna. But I'm just kind of giving you a rough time, Annie, since you never make mistakes ever, ever, ever. It's the first time I've ever seen one, I think. Halyna was a strong woman, well paid. She was also very new at it. I don't know exactly how many years she had under her belt, but she was roughly 40. And it was something she'd only been doing for a couple of years. She'd only just gone to school a handful of years prior to learn cinematography. And she was extremely talented with it, is the word on the street. That, you know, she took it to the next level as an art form. So people were willing to pay her more, but for Alec to act like, oh, I'm so poor, I only have a $6 million budget. You guys know, I caught this yesterday in the trial. The movie was probably a tax shelter for him and other producer investors. That a lot of these ultra uber wealthy people make these little tiny movies as tax shelters. So there was a whole section on that. Have you heard that? Here, let me get caught up so I can get your answer to that. I'm going to speed read. And hello, Mrs. G. Nice to see you, lady. Sammy said she was escorting Kylie. What? Per A for J? Oh my goodness. But A for J, we can't trust her as far as we can kick her. Oh my goodness. I mean, I've always wondered about that. If that was something going on that night once Kylie was incapacitated. Trigger warning. I've always wondered if Scammy wasn't pimping her. Gross. Absolutely disgusting. And let's see. Greetings, salutations, everyone. I saw the testimony. I'm not sure why the people took the gun and bullets and moved those, and it was not Hannah who moved those evidence pieces. Some of it, I think, was honest, just people's brains weren't computing, that they were just kind of an autopilot and they were just trying to get stuff put away. But at the same time, you know that you're supposed to drop everything, and the police had said probably to not touch anything. So people that were doing that prior to law enforcement arriving, I'd say it's a 50-50 that they might have been trying to destroy evidence and that they might have just been trying to stay busy and didn't know what to think. I mean, what a horrible, horrible experience. Even just listening to people recount it. But I want to say it is very heartwarming and endearing to see people getting emotional about it, because you never see that with Alec. All you see is the bastard, rat bastard, get angry and defensive and play the victim. And you don't really see much of anything with Hannah Gutierrez Reed. You see a lot of facial expressions, but she doesn't really talk. I'm sure she's been instructed not to, as was Alec. when he went and did his 2-hour George Stephanopoulos interview last year. That really pissed me off. I'm sure his own counsel would have told him not to talk, but I believe that there was a judge who put a gag order. Wasn't there? Again, I'm getting caught up. I am. And I'm glad you got to see it, Mark, because you are really sharp with that stuff. Welcome to the chat. Mrs. G, how are you today? There's no reason to have live rounds on the set. There's zero reason. In fact, there's a lot of reasons not to have live rounds on the set. You never have live rounds on the set. Never, ever, ever, ever. You usually don't even have a real gun. You usually have a prop firearm. And we can't forget that Alec Baldwin, you guys, I've Googled this a bunch to make sure that it wasn't misinformation. That man's father was a gun shooting coach at Amity High School for 28 years while Alec was growing up. So don't tell me that Alec doesn't know every single thing that there is to know about a freaking gun. Don't even. I mean, seriously, you guys, did you know that? 28 years his dad was the shooting coach. I guess they had like some kind of rifle shooting sport at their high school. I don't know if that would be part of the track team. I mean, I'm not familiar with that at all. But I find it really irritating and disgusting. I mean, it really makes my stomach turn to think that he, in my opinion, would be qualified as a gun expert just from being around them growing up. Just like Hannah Gutierrez, she might not have very much training, but she grew up with her father being an armor. But I just don't think she took the job very seriously. And it's my opinion that Alec took advantage of that. And he was doing things that should not have been done. Absolutely. So yeah, I believe that they had live rounds out there because people were having fun practicing target practice with the freaking firearm when they weren't busy working or sleeping or driving to and fro. And they got there somehow, exactly. Somehow or another, and we need to know how. How in the world did they get out there? My guess is Alec, because nobody else would be that daring. I mean, you'd get fired instantaneously in the real world, right? There have been so many deaths and injuries on lower end movies. Oh, you guys, you know, the one of the worst non-fatal injuries ever, I think, was for Back to the Future 2. Cheryl Dixon Wheeler, I think was her name, and she was crashed into a cement pillar when she was doing some like airborne, what was supposed to look like a hoverboard, but they were like on little Tinkerbell strings, her and another stunt double, and she crashed in the cement pillar and almost died. So that was the Michael J. Fox movie, Back to the Future 2. Yeah, there are terrible, terrible, you have to have quite the mentality to be a stunt person. Quite the mentality. Yeah, they will get there somehow. Yeah, well, they got there somehow. Yes. And I'm glad I read it again, though, even though I'm already at Mark's, which is right after it. But yeah, they got there somehow. I mean, those are profound words. Divine Justice, aka Mrs. G, the honey badger, has a knack for the profound words. Do you not? It's kind of your forte, if you don't mind my saying. Will do. Awesome. Free hats to all. Actually, you guys, you know how I have the you can hardly see it in this lighting. The what are these things called? The jellyfishes, but I have it upside down so that you just see like the little lights. I was going to purchase a handful of those and use those as free giveaways. If you're interested in these jellyfish tapestries, they're about 6 feet by 5 feet, I think. And they're mostly like navy blue, cobalt blue, and they have air bubbles and little lights, and they're like a purplish, but mostly dark blue. Put a 1 in the chat, and then I'll go and pick some up because I know where I can get a whole handful of them for a good deal. And I thought, would that be a fun giveaway thing for you guys, even though I didn't make it, just because it is really unique. And let's see, I bet, where are we? I'll wear it on my streams. Free hats to all. I got to highlight that. That is too funny. Yeah, like I said, free advertising for me. Do you want black or white, Mark? It's your pick. So I'm getting caught up. I am. Yes, I believe he let his anger get the best of him. And like you said, anger on purpose, accidentally on purpose. Yeah, I think that they hadn't been able to record for at least a day, if not more. And there was a lot of frustration that morning. There was a lot of stress. The crew that had walked off the job had come back because of Halyna's solving the problem. You know, it's that freaking quote that my mother taught me that is profound. No good deed goes unpunished. Seriously, this is why we all really need to stay in our lanes. And I'm not criticizing Halyna for doing what she did. She was the boss of the crew. So she took ownership and leadership with that. And I think that man resented her. But I also think he probably resented her because she probably rejected him, is my guess. Just a shot in the dark. And no website. I just paint for fun. I would just love to see some of your stuff. Like, I don't know if you have like a Facebook page or if you can just send me photographs. You sent me photographs a while ago, didn't you? OMG, I was just thinking how I probably made 0 cents at the end of my live last night. I was so tired. Man, you just go and go and go. You're like the Energizer Bunny, girl. I don't think I caught the end of it. I was surprised that it, like I had to like be off the computer for a minute, and then I came back and it was not on anymore. I was like, wait, what? I'm not very familiar with the case, but Alec Baldwin doesn't strike me as a nice person. But would he unalive someone? No clue. Well, this is a thought that I've had. I think I've shared this with you guys, is that he might have been threatening her. Like, I could shoot a gun in your face, not knowing that the ammo was in there. But it's my suspicion that he knew the ammo was in there and that he did it on purpose. That Joel Sousa was accidentally shot because the bullet went right through Halyna. But right in the armpit, you guys, through her. So like through her heart and kind of center armpit on the right side to the left shoulder blade. So kind of up and diagonal. And the people that were there, I mean, the whole thing was horrifying on so many levels. Even people who didn't see it, but just could hear it from outside. But the damage that it did to her physically, and trigger warning, the physical damage, and the EMT that is hired to be there on site cut her shirt off immediately to try to see what could be done for her, to see where the wounds were and what was going on. And they videotaped it, of course, and that videotape ended up being released to the public last year. And then I think it got taken down. But I have a photograph that I found online accidentally of Halyna laying there on the floor in the little church. And like, why that stuff has to get out into mainstream, it's really sick. It's really sick. He's definitely not a nice person, and he's gotten into a lot of trouble with the law in the past. I'm pretty sure he was a domestic violence perpetrator in his last marriage. And even his current marriage, Halyna, is very insulting to him a lot of the time. If you've ever caught any of their stupid social media posts, she is extremely hostile towards him. And I think he's at least twice her age. She's 65. She's in her 30s. And I think, was she a yoga teacher or did they meet at yoga? I'm not sure. But she's from Massachusetts. She pretends that she's Spanish with a Spanish accent. Her name is Hillary, but she swears that her name is Halyna, which is like hilarious. Funny, not funny. Okay, I'm getting caught up. I told you guys I'd get caught up. Let's see. Yeah, she said Kylie's last recorded visual was 12:40 a.m. Oh my goodness. Well, she also said, A for J, said that somebody contacted her and wanted to give $100,000 to anybody who would send her photographs from the party. I mean, give me an effing break. Like, that is such a concocted pile of crap. $100,000. And didn't she say whether Kylie's in the photos or not? Like, she just was dying to get her hands on some photos so she could have the exclusive. And yeah, I'm sure somebody was going to give $100,000 to anybody who sent in a photograph from the party without Kylie in it. Sure. Right. Last recorded visual. Okay. The armorer admitted to bringing a box of ammo from home. Oh, did she? When was that? Today? Because I haven't caught that at all. That must have been today. What? Tell me. That's what I've always thought. Dummy guns. Baldwin is not behind it. I don't know. He was breaking all the rules, but I respect your opinion, Mrs. G. I don't trust him at all. And again, where's the remorse, Alec? Where's the sympathy? It makes you the devil when you don't have it. Mary says, hey, girly in chat. Late but present. Hey, adulting is stupid. You are so funny, squirrels. I agree. I entirely agree. You know, adulting is just a waste of time. But sometimes we have to do it, right? Absolutely. Let's see. Where are we at? So they weren't going to be using actual bullets, except for target practicing after hours. But yeah, they shouldn't have been doing that with the prop gun. I mean, the firearm should have actually been a prop and a fake firearm, not a real one. They look the exact same. It's ridiculous. And yes, I know it's stupid, but we love to shout out Megan's way of spelling. Oh, I thought that you were making fun of adulting, but you're making fun of MC Ultra. Yes, we do. Pixie Knickers says 1. Now I forget what the question was. Oh, if you'd like the jellyfish things for prizes. I would love to do some prizes. I feel like it's time. It is a pain in the butt, right, Shan? Shan's been killing it with the t-shirts and the prizes. And it's like a whole nother project, but it's nice to give back to the people that have built you up. So thanks, you guys. I really appreciate it. And they're cool tapestries. I love them. I have 2. So, but 1 is on that wall, so you can't see it at all. And then I've got the let your light so shine over here, and I have a light shining right on it so you can see it. I'm trying to work with the new space. We'll get it together. Let's see. Mrs. G, I was catching up with your live from last night since I knocked out early. What? Shan knocked out early? Not allowed. That never happens. No, I'm glad. I'm glad that you did. Yeah, our sleep is so very important. Absolutely. No idea how much sense I made by the end. I was so tired. The hat, jazz, black. Cool, Mark. Did you email me your address, Mr. Mark, so I can pop that off in the mail to you on Monday? Mrs. G, a cross between Sleepies and Cloud9 catching. Can't wait. I have 3 more hours to catch of it. Only 3 more hours. Oh, too funny. Yeah, I admit I was watching a bunch of stuff on double speed yesterday because I was, the trial, I was mostly watching that live, so I couldn't do it double speed. You can't do lives double speed, obviously. But I don't really like watching stuff on double speed. I'd rather watch it in real time and just not get as much information in, but then to balance it out, because I didn't want to not know what was going on with all these other content creators. So I've been catching up with some new ones. To me, you guys, JC Arts, J Cart Arts is the one that I keep bringing up, who's a paranormal channel who's been reacting to Christina Randall reacting to the Watts case. And I really like that kid. And I don't mean to be insulting by calling him a kid. I'm just, he's probably not much older than my oldest child. So he is extremely talented. I like his style, like Drip Drop. I like how unique they are and how they're just their own people. But remember, I am getting caught up and I am staying on topic. But also Zawoki, I was catching up with a lot of his work too, because his name keeps coming up, and him and J Cart's Arts seem to have some type of an alliance, like they both talk about each other a little bit. So, and Zawoki put out a video a few days ago about how he's just so done with the trolls. And yeah, trolls are ridiculous. But I'm getting caught up, right? Holy shit. Wait, what? Where'd that go? Sidewards through her. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Shan. I know. I didn't really know that. I don't think I had that fully comprehended until this week, the trial. Into her right armpit and out her left shoulder blade, and then right into Joel Sousa. Unbelievable. Someone put it in, who brought love rounds. Yeah, the opposite of love rounds. I'm sure that was supposed to be live rounds. Whose idea was it? Someone set this up, in my opinion. Well, I don't know. I mean, my suspicion is that it was set up by Alec, because nobody would know that he was going to pull the gun on her like that. I mean, they weren't even blocking yet. I really think he was threatening her, whether he knew it was loaded or not, that he was trying to say, I could shoot you at the very least. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that would be bones, lungs, heart. I didn't even think of the bones and the lungs and like the spinal cord. I was just thinking of the heart. Oh, now I really feel like vomiting. I mean, my heart just breaks for that woman and her husband and her son and everybody that was there. It's horrific. Absolutely. Set up for Baldwin, in my opinion. He wouldn't have been firing the gun. He fired the gun. He says he didn't, but he did. So he's lying about that too. He could say, I didn't think I fired the gun. I wasn't intending to fire the gun, but that man fired that gun, and that is absolute. And there's been experts saying that since before they even tested the gun to see if it was malfunctioning. Even if it was malfunctioning, you still have to pull the trigger. Sounds like an illness. Galatea. Hilaria. It does. And sorry to get so fired up, Mrs. G. I just, I've mentioned, I don't like to talk about it, but my husband is not only law enforcement, he is highly qualified and skilled as a recertification instructor. And he's told me a lot about it from jump. He's also a volunteer firefighter and rescue squad. So he runs with the EMTs. I think he's an EMT. I'm not even sure, because that's all volunteer stuff. But so he knows a lot about this stuff. And right from go, he was like, there's no way a gun can fire itself. It's just not possible. 100% not possible. So, then with all of the FBI experts that have been testing it and breaking it and dropping it and doing everything possible to see if there's even a remote possibility that Alec is telling the truth, and he's not. He might not be intending to mislead, but he's misleading. He's not speaking honestly. He could say, I didn't mean to fire the gun, and I don't even remember firing the gun, but it went off in my hand, so obviously I fired it. I mean, give me some common sense, douchebag. And yeah, the thing with his father being a firearms instructor coach for the high school for 28 years, that just kicks me right in the gut. I saw the interview on the road with Alec's wife, and whenever she tried to say something, he cut her off. So I guess another toxic relationship. And what did he call his daughter way back? A swine? I thought it was a biatch, or a pig. Yeah, he might have called her a pig. That was his daughter from his first marriage. But also, you guys, he and Halyna have 7 kids now. I found that out a couple days ago, too. Remember, I was asking if anyone knew if they still had 6 or if they had more. So the 7th one was via surrogate. So they have 7 now, last time I checked. I do not know. I agree, Justice Baldwin showed no remorse. Bobo, what is up? I don't know that I recognize your name, but welcome. As a German, the gun laws of the U.S. are totally insane to me. Taking 14-year-old kids hunting, etc. I agree. As an American, the gun laws are totally insane to me. And, my husband and I have very differing views because of his profession, and he grew up hunting, and he grew up appreciating the history of gun and gunsmithing. I am like, I should live somewhere like Holland where they don't have them, because I don't think that they should be so readily available, but you can't get that genie back in the bottle. You can't reverse that. So it's a huge problem. And all these freaking live shooters nationwide. Okay, I'm getting caught up. They were shooting at all hours with live ammunition. That's why the armor is getting tacked to the wall. If they would not have been there, this wouldn't have happened. He would have been all mouth. Right. And even if they were there, if they were checked appropriately, it wouldn't have happened. Hey, Sunset Salty Sage. Hello, hello. And Mrs. G. Hi, guys. Headed to therapy. I'll watch rest later. Stay on Kylie, friends. Mark, have a lovely therapy session. And you did send me your address to send the black hat to, correct? Good morning. Completely agree and understand the full meaning of the title. It's actually been a topic of conversation in comparison to many different types of contexts it can be applied to. Landon Josiah White, nice name and welcome. I don't think I've seen your name before, so thanks for coming in. May I get caught up on the context and issues y'all discussing? Okay, but I need to get caught up with you guys first, if you don't mind, and then we'll try to do that. And maybe some people will put it in the chat. Mark, free CCW classes, LOL. Joke. Okay, good. I'm glad that was a joke. Because, yeah, I know every time I get into somebody's chat late, I always want to say, like, what did I miss? But I don't. Oh, look, and I'm almost caught up. Annie Ruler, a language critic calls, I didn't shoot the gun, says red flags. I do not think I pulled the trigger would be normal per him. See, that's what I'm talking about, Annie Ruler. To say I wasn't planning on pulling the trigger, and I don't even remember pulling the trigger. I don't think I pulled the trigger, but obviously the trigger was pulled and the gun was in my hand, so I must have. Like, that'd be like normal people, right? the non-narcissists that think that they can get out of any trouble that they're in because they're A-listers. Baldwin called his own daughter a fat pig. Oh my goodness. And she's so beautiful. And if anything, he's a fat pig. I don't like to body shame anybody, but you don't have to be big to be a fat pig, right? I mean, it's just it's like being a fat rat bastard. But again, I don't like to body shame. I'm not talking about size. I'm just talking about rat bastards. Okay. I kind of think someone was sloppy and negligent, or Baldwin was set up, but you never know. Yeah, I think Baldwin set it up to look like an accident. That's what I think. Hey, Fred Field. Good morning for you. It's probably still like 1 minute till afternoon, 2 minutes till afternoon. No notification. Looks like I miss most. Will watch replay after I steam clean carpet. I was reading stream. After I stream clean carpet. Laters. I know. I have a steam cleaner and I like to steam clean because we have carpets and we have a lot of pets, and I actually get really into it when I do it. I'm like totally in the zone, but it's quite the chore. And then you got to dry the carpets. And I was going to give Mookie a little bit of screen time. Mookie, come here, baby. Come here, Mookie. Let's see. He is disgusting. Yeah, he is. He's gross. Him and all his freaking 7 babies. And then he was using those 7 babies as an excuse for why he couldn't do in-person follow-up interviews a few months after the incident. Like, that's ridiculous. As in character, Mrs. G says. Hi, Fred. Okay. So, but he was so good in Beetlejuice. I love that movie. Winona Ryder was so good in Beetlejuice. And Gina Davis, too. Who else? Who else was in Beetlejuice? Okay, so here's my notes. There's so much I wanted to share. Mookie, come here, baby. Hey, baby. Okay. Oh, sorry. I got to catch up on all these notes here. Most of it I've already shared. Yeah, the karma is a biatch, right? These people have no humility. And then the explosive, attacking personalities. Someone's deceased. Like, check yourself, okay? Just check yourself. So we all know that Baldwin is the oldest of the 4 brothers, the Baldwin brothers. And then one of his nieces is married to Justin Bieber. Did you guys know that? So, I mean, really, the Baldwins are like Kardashians, basically. You know, even Steven, the one who's kind of goofy looking, he's not the handsome one. Alec was the handsome one back in the day, and I don't think he's ever gotten over aging and not being Mr. Hottie anymore. He thinks he still is. And I mentioned to you how all those Baldwin boys were like the bad boys of Long Island. I mean, they were well known all over the island for being nothing but trouble. Nothing but trouble. It kind of makes me think of the Skakel boys. You know, Michael Skakel, who has been put in prison once or twice for the red rum of Martha Moxley. Those Skakel brothers, there were 7 of them. And hey, Mookie, I don't know if you can hear her yap, because the computer, it probably doesn't have the noise canceling like the last one did. Mookie, come here, baby. Hey, Mookie, come. Come here, girl. Come on. I could get up and shut the door if it's super annoying, but maybe she's done now. I can't believe she hasn't come to me calling her. She's a bad dog. Mookie, come on, baby girl. Come here. The entire camera crew quit. Yes. Okay. I only have 2 notebooks today, you guys. I'm doing better, right? So, yeah, I mean, you could say that there was no intent for Halyna's becoming unalived, but intent or no intent, the end result is that she's gone. And even without intent, that's still a negligent homicide, at the very least, manslaughter. So the manslaughter charges were dropped against Alec Baldwin about a year ago. And then they were refiled in January because of the new information, I think, from the FBI ballistics testing and such. But definitely, he's being charged with manslaughter. That's the trial that starts July 7th. So Sandra says, depending on what type of gun, it could have a trigger that you barely touch and it fires, and others take a little squeeze. Right. What do they call that? Like a hairline trigger? You still have to pull the trigger, and he cocked it. And there was no reason for him to have it out. There was no reason for him to be waving it in Halyna's face. And there was no reason for him to be pointing it right at her. He himself has said numerous times, and it's on video recording, that he would never, ever, ever point a gun at anyone. So he did. He did say that, and he did point a gun at someone, and she's not with us anymore. So, and O'Hara, Sunset Salty Sage. Yes, I forget her name, the first name of the mom, Winona Ryder's mom from Beetlejuice. She's a great actress. And then the guy who plays opposite her, he's also really good. They're in a lot of things together. Let's see. Billy Baldwin is cute. Billy Baldwin is the one whose daughter is married to Justin Bieber, right? I think. Steven doesn't act like his brother. Well, he's a normal person. And, you know, Billy seems like he might be a little bit normal too, even though he's adorable. And he's probably the youngest, I would think. I'm not sure. Mookie wants to be a YouTube creator too. I know, just like Nova, Shan. Nova cracks me up. She is so funny. She's always competing with you. I guess Mookie is too. So I almost missed you. Hey, Shan. She must be alerting you of something elsewhere, Mookie. Right. There's probably intruders that I should be paying attention to, but that's okay. They'll all be on video camera so we can watch them later. Yeah, I know. She really only barks when there's like dogs outside. And she'll bark a little bit for other activity, but the way she keeps barking, I'm thinking there might be some nice birds outside or some squirrels or something. Oh, speaking of squirrels, squirrels, remember? And I got this one too. And I knocked it down in my excitement, in my squirrel excitement. I knocked down my Brando picture. You can see him barely, but it's worth putting it there. But yeah, I thought you guys would be excited that I got my squirrels back out. Okay, enough of the home decor. Let's talk about jewelry. I've got a very dainty necklace on. It's Silpata, and earrings that I made that are like a sage green. Sage green is one of my favorite colors. Can you see it? Let's see. They're very simple and very pretty. And the bottom, actually all three stones, like the top two and the bottom one, they're all stones, not just glass. So I'm really into stones. I'm really into glass too, but I even like plexiglass and other like plastic, like resin that a lot of jewelry, costume jewelry is made with. Come here, Mookie. Come here. Everybody wants to see you. Come here, baby. Come here. Come on. Come on. Come here, cutie. Oh, here's the star of the show, the real star, my baby, my little sweetie pie. She's smaller than our cat, you guys. She is so funny. And she looks like 100% wiener dog, and she's only 51% wiener dog. And she's got a bunch of stuff in her, and she's got that black heart on her forehead that just shows how freaking amazing and special she is. She's absolutely my baby girl. She's the apple of my eye. I love my other pets too, but me and Mookie, man, we are inseparable. What happened to my thing? Okay. I'm like muting myself probably with my Mookie. Like, so she's not laying on the mic. I'm just hugging her into the mic. So let's see. Where are we at? It wasn't meant for Halyna. Oh, wait a second. Mrs. G, what are you saying? Oh, I'm so curious. I am so curious. He lied and said he didn't pull the trigger. Right. Again, just a little humility goes a long way. Just some humble pie. Come on, dude. You can do it. You can handle it. It's delicious. Shan, put Mookie and Nova and let them have a singing video. Yes, hairline trigger. Duh, that was it. I couldn't remember. Oh, I'm so curious what Mrs. G is saying, if it was meant for someone else. Same language analyzer, I would never, ever red flag. Which language analyzer are you referring to, Annie Ruler? Because Martin Decoder is one of my favorites. Let's see. I'm so tired of special treatment or lesser charges because they have money, exactly, are tied into politics or have government ties. 100%. I'm with you on that. Or can afford lawyers who lie to put forth doubt. So you guys, I have to tell you that I was confused about which attorneys were which attorneys. And so I was thinking initially that the guy was the defense attorney and that he sounded like a clown. And that then I got confused and thought, wait, no, he's the prosecution. And then the woman who sounds sharp as a tack is the defense attorney. I was thinking that until yesterday watching the trial, and then I got it straight finally. The guy who sounds like a clown is the defense attorney. And yeah, these people will say anything at all for the right amount of money. And you know, I can hear it in his voice, the way he talks, that he knows he's full of crap. And then the prosecuting attorney, man, she is laser sharp. I love her. She's really good. She's got a great career going, and probably an even greater career ahead of her, because trials like this make you famous, whether you win or you lose. I mean, look at Marsha Clark and Christopher Darden and all the rest of them. The dream team. Johnny Cochran. I'm so tired of special treatment. Okay, let's see. I love when Nova chats along with Shan. Oh, I know. And Shan gets so annoyed, and I'm always loving it. It's so funny. Nova, her hype puppy. Nova's a wild one. Totally. Absolutely. Nova practice verbal skills. Yes, I agree. Absolutely. Halyna was a wonderful documentary director, and Baldwin was flippant in her death. Flippant is a very good word, Bobo. Absolutely. I don't know her documentaries, but see, I'm a huge documentary aficionado, so I'll have to check out her documentaries. Do you know the topics? And yeah, Mookie is the cutest. Flash. She's your personal heart emoji, so you don't have to use your hands and try to angle them to a heart. Right, because I'm so bad at it, right? I always forget that I'm supposed to go upside down. And then, yeah, the angle, there. These dumb things with my dyslexic brain and the way that computers are all opposite, it's so freaking annoying. Being dyslexic is challenging enough. I do not need additional challenges with left, right, left. Okay. No one remembers Flash Dog in Dukes of Hazzard. No, I don't think I really watched Dukes of Hazzard. I'm sorry if that makes me look like an idiot because everybody watched Dukes of Hazzard. But I think I was too busy watching Charlie's Angels and Chips and a bunch of other 70s shows. I just didn't get into the Dukes of Hazzard. I don't know why. Let's see. What did I miss other than Flash? I'm willing to see Mrs. G pick up all of her puppers and we'll see them. I know. I want to see you, Mrs. G. I think you've shown a photograph or two that I've seen on your lives, and you're gorgeous, my dear. So I know you're camera shy these days, but I want to see my Mrs. G. It's okay, though. I'll accept your decision there. I just thought I'd mention it. And Mookie, the way Alec treated Lady Cop, he needs accountability. The way he treated the male cop was awful, Annie. The way he treated the male cop when he kept saying that he was going to go change his wardrobe, and the male cop kept saying, I need you to wait until the evidence technician, the top dog, gets here. And he'd say, "Oh, okay, great. Well, I'll just go change real quick then out of this costume." And the cop's like trying to be polite, treating him like a king, and like, "Oh no, I need you to wait." And Alec is just like, "Okay, so I'm gonna go change now." And the guy's like, "No." I mean, he had to say it at least 3 times, very, very clearly. And then Alec probably went and changed anyway. I mean, it's like funny, not funny, laugh or cry. He might have pulled the hammer partially back and released it, and then it hit the bullet. Well, obviously, Ranch Boss, because she's deceased. And yeah, absolutely. Deception Detective, very sharp. So I agree with you on some of Deception Detective being very sharp. I thought he was ridiculous with his whole scammy thing, and I am not that familiar with him, but I did watch the whole scammy thing, the over an hour video, and I watched it in real single speed time. And he did have a lot of intelligent things to say, although he was talking out of his arse a lot because he didn't have a baseline for scamming, and he didn't know enough of the backstory of what was going on. You switch attorneys, wrecked. Switch attorneys. Yeah, I did. But the thing is that the defense attorney is so obviously a doofus, in my humble opinion, and the prosecuting attorney is so obviously a wizard, in my humble opinion. But for a little bit, the day before yesterday, I thought, oh my goodness, the one that sounds like an idiot is the prosecution, and the one that sounds like a genius is the defense. But no, that was incorrect. Nova hasn't left my side today. She's been getting bits of chicken when I deboned it for chicken and biscuits. Yum. So Shan, a couple days ago, before the tornadoes came through, and I did hear you talk about the tornadoes, that you kind of got a touch of the outskirts of it. Our area kind of got hit, not hard. I think there was like an EF2 that touched down not too far away from my house. But my larger dog, Coco, my regular normal dog, she was like hiding under my person all day, the day before yesterday, like she was scared, like she was sick. I was really worried about her, but I think she felt the storm that came through later that night. I think that, you know how like the pressure drops or something. That's cute. She doesn't want the kitten getting any of her portions. You have a kitten too? Oh my goodness, I don't think I've seen your kitty cat. How old is your kitty cat? We have 3 cats. One is really old. She's like 15. And then the 2 that are brother and sister are like 3, almost 4. We got them during the summer, the first summer of COVID 2020. Let's see. Deception Boy is just that. But you respect Annie Ruler's opinion, don't you? And if Annie Ruler likes him, I'm sure that there's some things to like. I was really glad I watched his whole episode on Scammy because he does have a lot of redeeming qualities. But I don't know. He might have been chummy with the Hamburglers or something. It's what it seemed like to me. If there was a conspiracy, it was originally not charges in this whole case, originally deemed an accidental shooting, no changes or no charges. Yeah, absolutely. But, I was saying that in the gun circle of the industry, they don't call it an accidental discharge. They call it a negligent discharge. So I thought that was really interesting. I didn't know that until a couple days ago. So an accidental shooting is a negligent discharge because the gun is not going to go off by itself. I mean, I guess a robot could do it. Yeah, like I gonna knock this biche out, Shan said. Okay, let's see. Flash the wiener dog. Oh, yeah. I always say that Mookie is. See, I thought she was only a quarter wiener dog, but she thinks she's all wiener dog. But then we did the DNA test. I hope she doesn't get charged with any red rums now that they have her DNA on file. The DNA said that she was 51% wiener dog. So, her mother, I think, was the Chiweenie, and then the daddy is like a Heinz 57 and a little bit of Cocker Spaniel, like just a whole bunch of Heinz 57 of smaller dogs. So obviously the dad had a bunch of wiener dog too. Or maybe the mom that's Chiweenie is much more wiener dog than Chihuahua, not a half and half. Anyway, Mookie's just perfect. OMG, they'd walk me. Too funny. Hey, Mrs. Amir Zaza, what's up? Nice to see you. Where are we at? We're at an hour and 15. Let me remain caught up and then go back to my notes. I met the lady cop that grabbed real gun, not taser. Was this in New Mexico on the Rust set, or was this a different situation, Annie Ruler? I'm not familiar with that. But I'd still be on his clothes, so that wouldn't matter. It'd still be on his clothes, so that wouldn't matter. Yeah. Oh, you mean if he changed out of them? There was probably the red stuff splattered on his clothes, is what I'm thinking. And that he wanted to get that away from his person so that he could go back into denial that he didn't do anything. I mean, the thing is just to have respect for law enforcement. The officer that was dealing with him is just like some Santa Fe rural small-time law enforcement, not used to dealing with Hollywood movie stars. And of course, Alec is going to take that and use it against him. And he just kept pushing and pushing and pushing. And I was really happy that the guy kept pushing back, as he should, because you don't do that. You cooperate with law enforcement. Otherwise, you're impeding justice and you're interfering with the investigation, and you can get charged. Like, you can get charged literally just for being rude like that. You really can. Like, you're not supposed to make the cops' job more difficult. The cops have a difficult job already. So, it'd still be on his clothes. Yeah. Did I I didn't highlight that one. But yeah, it's just that he wasn't respecting the man is what was so gross to me. And that he was so focused on his wardrobe when Halyna's in the church, or maybe she was out of the church by then. Maybe she was on the helicopter by then, but she was obviously deceased. I mean, they could tell by her color. And what was the thing that she said? This isn't good. Well, she said, I can't feel my legs. And I think her last words were, this isn't good at all, or something like that, if anybody knows. Let's see. Where did it go? Baldwin knew he would be treated with kid gloves. Why would anyone think Kylie's case would be any different? Special treatment for powerful friends and family. Exactly. I know, I'm so sick of the scammy special treatment. But see, scammy, if she were charged with anything, in the event, this is speculation, that Kylie passed away from some party favors that Scammy supplied, then if Scammy were held accountable for supplying the fatal party favors, then they'd have to go back to her sources. And her sources might well go back to the Nevada County Sheriff. The word on the street is that they run all the substances through the jail there, the Nevada County Sheriff. So in protecting Scammy, they're protecting themselves. And that's, I think, here we are over a year and a half into the case. I think that that's very likely what happened, that it was an OD. We don't know that. We really don't know anything. But also, it could have been a combination of substances, Fight Club, and trafficking. It could have been a combination. Whatever it was is disgusting, and people just need to come clean. It's ridiculous. Absolutely, Bobo. Thank you for that comment. Yeah, and I detected deception. Divine Justice, I think, is talking about detecting deception from Deception Detective. That's a good one. That's funny. The weather here was insanely awesome. No tornado. Fee and I went tornado and lightning chasing, watched past 3 days. Oh, very nice. Yeah. Now it's lovely here today. 3 months old is the kitten. Stormy is her name. Aw. And what does she look like? Is she like gray and black or something? Deception Detective is deceptive. He's too hit or miss for me to take him as a professional. Yeah, he says he's an attorney, and as an attorney, like most attorneys are pretty well versed in mental health because they have to be, and they often have their own mental health issues because the work they do is so grueling. But personality disorders are the main thing that you'd be dealing with in court situations. So as a lawyer, he should know personality disorders. And Scammy is like a classic textbook borderline narcissistic sociopath, in my professional, humble opinion. A professional lawyer on YouTube. Okay, well, you got Harvard Lee, who changed her name to just Attorney Lee. I guess she didn't like what was going on with Harvard. There's a couple. I mean, there's like the guy, the lawyer, who I'm not real fond of. I don't really get much from watching him. I think a lot of people watch him for the eye candy, and he's not my cup of tea for the eye candy. So, yeah. I do like to watch lawyers sometimes because they do break things down pretty well. So also, I often will have my husband go over things. He's not a lawyer, but he plays one on TV. He's talked about going to law school, which I wish he would. He'd be good at it. Shan used to love watching storm chasing movies. Oh, Twister, that was a good one with Helen Hunt and Bill Paxton. And Bobo says, yes, exactly, Justice. And I don't know what that was for because that's probably a while back. That was at 1:20 p.m. and we're at 1:28. So that was 8 minutes ago. Sorry, Annie. I know people love him. I wanted to. I gave him a chance and even went back to try and watch some of his old stuff. And I disagree with him more than I agree. I love storm chasing. Best I've seen is Twin Tornadoes in Kansas. Oh my goodness. Wow. I've never seen a tornado in person. I've only had a dream that I saw one. And I experienced a bunch of tornadoes like hop right over us, but it was a trifecta that did a ton of damage on all sides, or at least two sides of the city that I live in. So cities on either side of us were like demolished a few years back, and it was crazy. And it was the middle of the night, and there was so much lightning, and I loved lightning, but I fell back to sleep because it just kept going on and on and on. And I was sleeping in the upstairs bedroom, and I literally thought, I'm probably not going to make it because this seems like a really bad tornado, maybe touching down. And I just fell right back to sleep. And fortunately, it hopped right over me. So I got lucky. I don't think anybody passed away in that tornado, actually. But yeah, I live in an area that is part of life here. Every year you have to deal with it. Listening to you read my comments is hilarious. Oh, you're funny. You're so funny. You making fun of me. Jazz, good. And you, ma'am? I'm doing great. Thank you. It'd be on his everything. Uh-huh. Yeah, the splatter. Well, makes me think of when Mo Wilson's friend, Caitlin Cash, was doing chest compressions on her for 20 or 30 minutes until the medics arrived. They didn't let Caitlin wash her hands for hours, you guys. She had to go to the police station and be interrogated there for hours. And then she talked about that in her victim witness impact statement, I think, or at some point in the trial. But she talked about how when she was finally allowed to go wash her hands, that, she'd wanted to wash them and she was putting them under the water. And then suddenly she just had this panic that the last bits of her friend Mo were getting washed down the drain, and she wanted to grab it and put it back on. And that's the kind of crazy thoughts you have when you're dealing with something that traumatic. And yeah, but that shouldn't be your priority. Somebody's deceased. That should be your priority. He's just a pig. He's disgusting. And just when he went on that George Stephanopoulos interview and went into great detail when he was told not to talk about the case, period. And then I think it was within 48 hours he did that Stephanopoulos interview. That must have been amazing to watch. Exactly, Justice. Local law enforcement did their job, and Baldwin tried to distract and cleaned and changed clothes. Ugh. Well, yeah, I think everybody was cleaning, and some of that I think was intentionally to destroy evidence, and some of it I think people were just really out of their minds and just didn't even know what they were doing. Sammy's strategy was get an attorney to prevent motions being filed without enough circumstantial evidence, and I spelled that wrong. Cute. Yeah, and didn't she have two defense attorneys? She's a white, long-haired calico with gray, smoky, black storm cloud patterns all over her. Calicos are worth a lot of money these days, aren't they? I'm pretty sure they are. Not that you'd want to sell her, but just be careful that nobody steals her. Kylie was lured, and phone records prove this. She had no intention of going to the party. Let's release phone chat logs. Bobo, thank you. Let's release the phone chat logs. So you reminded me of something from some of the other videos that people have been dropping the last few days, that how come none of these kids in Truckee wanted to go to this party, allegedly? MC Ultra's kids didn't want to go to the party, and Kylie didn't want to go to the party, and Kate didn't want to go to the party, and Jägermeister didn't want to go to the party. Was this some kind of disgusting party that nobody wanted to go to? Because usually everybody's going to want to go to a party, right? It doesn't make sense. I gotta go. Have a happy day, Jazz, and everyone in chat. I agree with Justice, or I agree, Justice. It's always nice to have agreements, even though disagreements are fine too. Sociopath, in my professional opinion, too. Divine Justice. I know you have like a medical background, right? Tragos, thank you, Mrs. Amir Zaza. And yeah, I don't like to say derogatory things about other channels, you know that, but we all know that he's a pretty boy and he plays it up. And, you know, if you're going to try to do law stuff, don't play up the whole pretty boy thing, because it's just a distraction. I will keep open ears, R.E. Deceptive Detective, but he agreed with Jazz about definites, and I never. I think Scammy got the CDL to avoid a lie detector test and circumstantial charges being brought forth, and lying nutbag covered Scammy. I like that, lying nutbag. By saying she was interrogated. I don't think she was. Yeah, I don't think she was either. So you do come up with some really good nicknames, Shan, and Skidmark is one of my favorites. A lot of people have been rehashing his stuff, and I just can't take it anymore. I can't look at him. I can't listen to him. That man is sick. In my opinion, he is very disturbed. I mean, Scammy is very disturbed too, but something is so fundamentally off with Skidmark. It's disgusting. But I could say the same thing about Scammy and the same thing about lying nutbag. Storm Chasers came for her Odie in 2014. In my opinion, they came here, fled for safety. It is on YouTube. Oh, funny. Yeah. Yeah, like, you know, the 2 times I've been to Hawaii, on the Big Island in Hilo, they have a bunch of photographs of a tsunami that came through there, I think in the 40s, might have been the 60s, somewhere in there. And they're big black and white photos. They have like a whole museum of the tsunami photographs, and all these people that went to the beach to view the tsunami. And then, of course, they were all killed by the tsunami. Like, you can't do that. You cannot do that. Lawyer Lee, Harvard University, was already telling her to drop using D-name apparently before the whole saga. Oh, good to know. Well, yeah, I just caught a medical doctor. I'll put the link in the description, who was talking about the Kansas City 3 that froze to death. And he's a Harvard Medical School grad, but I don't think it was in the name of his channel. It was a link somebody sent me. I don't think I'd ever seen him before, but it was really informative. I will put that in the description, so if you guys are curious. But one of the things that he's talking about is basically the fentanyl, and the fentanyl is such an epidemic. I'm thinking more and more that our dear Ms. Kylie could have had fentanyl poisoning. And same with our dear Trinity Backus. I really wanted to say this today, you guys, that one of the things that I find so suspicious in those cases dealing with Nevada County Sheriff's Deputy Christopher Stanio is that why wouldn't somebody, if not him, somebody from the Nevada County Sheriff's Department or Placer County Sheriff's Department step forward and say, so sad what happened to Trinity Backus, and especially with her stepdad being one of the Nevada County Sheriff's deputies that worked on Kylie Rodney's case 3 weeks before. Like, why not just say it? Like, those are the things that the lack of that information being out there is what I find evidence of potential guilt and really makes me suspicious. Just like in the Idaho 4 case, that Scott Green didn't just come right out and say, oh my goodness, my father used to own that house when I was a kid. My parents owned that house, 1122 King Road. Why not just say it? Why not have somebody from the Moscow PD say, this is so sad that this happened to students at the school that we all went to, or a lot of us went to, but especially that our department, our officers were so familiar with these kids with all the noise complaint calls. Somebody, I want to say 1111 Tarot, brought up the other day how absurd it is to have noise complaint calls in the middle of a college campus, especially the ones that were like middle of the day. Yeah, you're not going to get noise complaint calls on a college campus or, college housing that's like right next to campus. That's all you have in that area is college kids. And yeah, they were being surveilled by the Moscow PD, in my opinion. But the fact that Moscow PD didn't just come straight out and say, like even Corporal Brett Payne, the lead detective, could have said, wow, I've been to this house a few times recently for noise complaints and spoken to at least one of these victims directly. The fact that they didn't do that makes me suspicious. Like, why not just speak frankly? Why not? After, what was that? After Odie, I've fallen behind again. Must have PTSD. Most have PTSD. Yeah. Lawyer Lee Harvard. Okay, I already read that one. But yeah, I missed the one about the PTSD. Have there ever been any pictures or videos from that Truckee party? That was the first red flag for me, that no one posted anything. Yeah, I think that there was tons. I think there was hundreds. And I think that Scammy has had control over them, or law enforcement has had control over them, and they haven't been released at all. That's my opinion. And I hope the world runs out of ink. Are you talking about A for J? Oh my goodness. And yeah, what is ink code for? Is she huffing it? Special individuals are allowed to not only change clothes, Bobo. Yeah, true. But getting cleaned up, absolutely. Plenty of time to clean up. I'm trying to think somebody in another case where they had all kinds of time to clean up and destroy evidence, but it's not coming to me, and we're over 90 minutes. So we try to stay caught up and then finish up with the notes and maybe think about signing off with you guys. I love you so much, and thanks for being here. Where is my, let's see. Where's my armadillo? There it is. There's the armadillo, made by the 16-year-old crazy kid. Okay, isn't that so cool? 3D printer. Share, subscribe, ring your notification bell. I haven't done all that yet. But yeah, the armadillo is the coolest. Where can I put him? I could put him on the bridge, but if I put him here, will he eat the mice? Oh, you can't even see him. Let's see if I put him on the bridge. I don't want to knock stuff over, and I'm sure I will. There. Now, you can't really see him there either, but I'm just going to leave him and quit worrying about it. Okay. Did Daisy really hurt her shoulder walking a bull? That's a great question. Hey, guys. Oh, you're doing the skid mark. Oh my goodness, he's so gross. So yeah, on someone's channel a couple days ago, it was probably Ninja Chihuahua. She was playing the video that he was talking about how he was gonna try to like give all this fake information on his YouTube channel to get lots of clicks and views and likes. And then he decided not to. And he was so glad that he decided not to. And he was going to tell us about it so that we could make that same good decision based on his experience. It's like, well, a lot of us would make that same good decision just because we have integrity. We wouldn't dream of even exaggerating things. And if we catch ourselves exaggerating or misrepresenting things, we try to call ourselves out and apologize for it. So yeah, it was really despicable that he was being so frank about, yeah, I was just going to come out and lie. But it's also good information, because I think that there are a lot of content creators like that will just come out and say any crazy thing that they can to try to get a whole bunch of money. It's a money deal. It's a profit deal. It's a Steve Martin quote from The Jerk. I get it. It's a profit deal. I don't care if they look like Elvis. If they speak on Kylie, is better not to be out their arse. There's a guy in Germany who does like an Elvis channel, and he's also covered Maui, and I love him. If you guys aren't familiar with him, I'll put a link to his channel in the description and try to get one of his maybe like the first video that he did on Maui, because that was really good. And yeah, Brush Junkie was going to be doing a live this afternoon, but she's on West Coast time, so probably about, I think it was 3 p.m. West Coast time, so that'd be like 6 East Coast time. My husband says I lay scratch when I burn out and think it's getting poopy in your pants. What? I don't know what you're talking about, girlfriend. You are being silly. Creepy vibes from Dodgy Dodge too. Oh my goodness, yeah. Such a creep. And yeah, skid marks. I gotcha. That's what I figured you were getting at. Any ruler, Fent poisoning does not explain luring their victim. Maybe how they after, though. Such a good point, Annie Ruler. Thank you for bringing that up. Absolutely. Yeah, I think she was lured. She was being surveilled also. Make sure you get her there, people. Maybe somebody was even like bribing, like anyone who gets her there gets a $50 finder's fee or something. I don't know. You never know with these types of things. And yeah, when these types of things happen, I think it usually is a group effort. It's almost like a hit is being put out on one person, and then whoever helps orchestrate it and whoever can get it done wins the money, the purse of money. You know how they call it, like in a boxing match, like in a Fight Club match kind of thing. Eventually, exactly. And why not say partying can be dangerous? This isn't what local law enforcement does. And, you know, Bobo, I wanted to bring that up, that most of these cases seem to have the common denominator of party favors or rugs with a D. And yeah, they are dangerous. Like even the kid in Oklahoma that got beat up in the bathroom, the non-binary kid, they had been busted in the last couple of days before the fight happened for vaping. So I don't know that there were other party favors involved, but vaping at school. So they were breaking rules, and I'm not putting any blame on the victim. I'm just saying that type of behavior is dangerous. It's absolutely dangerous. Like Hannah Gutierrez was partying on the job, and look what happened. Maybe if she wasn't partying on the job, it wouldn't have happened. Maybe. I think it was a simple fight. Kylie would have set Sammy's teeth back I think if it was a simple fight, yeah, I think you're probably right. I would think that Kylie would be pretty ferocious in a situation like that, just like Shanann Watts would have been pretty ferocious in a situation like that, which is why I think Shanann was ambushed and on a blitz attack the second she walked in the door. I think it was more than one, and that's why there's no marks on Chris Watts, and there was no defensive wounds on her. I saw a really good Amber Truth Seeker live last night, you guys. She's been on it with this like weekly lives talking about the Watts case. I think she's been covering the Watts case for the majority of the 5.5 years since it happened. And thanks so much for the hearts, you guys. Somebody said the other day that helps with the algorithm. Can your son make a 3D printed squirrel? Oh, good idea, squirrel. I'm going to ask him to. You are brilliant. And yeah, maybe I could even see if he could make the little squirrel cult like I have here that's made out of probably some kind of plastic resin. That's a great idea. Yeah. Love you guys. Have a blessed day, everyone. Hustle Bitch has been dropping some badass vids again. I know, I'm so glad. And so the Brush Junkie is talking more about the Chile fire and the direct energy weapons. Hey, Zena in chat. Hey, Harsh One Shelly. Yeah, we are just getting ready to wrap up, my dear. She didn't die of a fent overdose. She was lured there. And I'm curious if you have information that she didn't die of a fentanyl overdose, because I don't think fentanyl, was it tested in the toxicology? I didn't think it was. Yes, Justice, these freaks like to beat down and they record this. Yes, I think all of these crimes, like the Idaho 4 and Kylie, it's all going to be videotaped, because those videotapes are worth millions on the dark web, you guys. And, follow the money. Agree with that, Shan. Kylie would have busted Scammy's face. Truth for Kylie. I agree about Shanann. Amber has a point there. I think the bullets found in the neighborhood play into it, in my opinion. Well, there's even been mention of a gun with Kylie's case, you guys. I haven't heard much about it, and I don't know if it has any bearing, but it is interesting. So let's see. Yeah, Nancy Grace in her interview with Audrey Cunningham's mother. So sad. And I guess that more family members are speaking out. I think Paula Plunder did a video about it, but I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. Yeah. So Chelsea Grimm, you guys, that is not one that I'm real familiar with. This is another teenager in Placer, Nevada County that's been missing. I'm going to Google that real quick before we wrap up, but there's a whole nother page of notes. I thought that was the end of it, but let me go ahead and Google Chelsea Grimm real quick, because I know I hear my homies talking about her. And so I feel like I should know more than I do, because I basically know nothing. She's been missing for 2 months after a road trip, but this was November 16th, 2023. She was on a cross-country road trip when she decided to camp for a few nights. Okay, 32-year-old Chelsea Grimm, last seen in Williams, Arizona on September 28th, 2023. Okay. Where was she from? Does she tie in with Nevada County or no? Anyway. Was she from San Diego? So she was from the same state, but Southern California. Let's see. I thought they had to test specific for certain drugs. Yeah, they do. And I remember there being a lot of discussion about the fentanyl. The fent was tested for. Okay, cool. Thank you, Bobo. Because I remember there being argument back and forth. And then all of the talk about the K-hole, the ketamine and the soda pop drink that is another party favor. The explosion could have been exploding target or a propane tank. The explosion, I don't know if you're talking about the gun going off in Halyna Hutchins' case, or if you're saying something about a different case. On the way out, yeah, slap the like button on the way out. Kylie was bad arse and she was jumped. Bobo, yeah, just like that kid Nex in Oklahoma was jumped. I did watch an interview of Nex with their guardian and law enforcement in the ER after getting beat up. And the only thing I want to add, in case you don't know, and again, this isn't blaming the victim at all, it's just to have a more encompassing understanding of the case, is that there'd been a lot of back and forth, which I think was pretty routine for Nex and these three girls. And then in the bathroom, the taunting was continuing, and Nex threw some water on one of them from a water bottle. And then they all released a can of whoop ass on her or on them. And I know that throwing water on someone is considered an assault because, yeah, it could be hot water, it could be chemicals, and it sets people off because they just have a knee-jerk reaction. But the fact that Nex passed away the next day and that it seems like there's a cover-up trying to say that they didn't die from injuries when it seems like a no-brainer that there was probably a concussion that person Nex died from. So anyway, I just wanted to include that information in case you guys haven't followed that case and didn't know that they did throw water on one of the three girls, and then all three of those girls jumped Nex and pulled their legs out from under them. And yeah, it sounds so scary. So scary. He was weird AF the way he was talking to her about her staying alone. In my opinion, this is why Chelsea Grimm. A cop was the last one to see Chelsea Grimm. Oh, whoa. That's, yeah, I haven't looked into this case. Now I'm going to look into this case because you know how I am. Corrupt law enforcement. We can't have it. Justice K-hole Ket is harder to get results. He was weird as AF the way he was talking to her and about her staying alone, in my opinion. The LE is who got Chelsea Grimm. You don't know what is in the so-called water. Exactly. Okay, you guys, let me try to power read my notes real quick. And see if I missed anything. I want to remind you guys what I said earlier about the movie Rust being a tax shelter. That was in the trial yesterday. So in Kylie Rodney's case, this whole thing with the car accident that Shan and others have been reviewing with the videotape of the the fire cam footage. If there was a car accident that her car was involved in, that would also explain the driver's side mirror being broken when they pulled it out of the water. It would also explain why they wanted to flip the car over underwater to basically really mess stuff up, to hide the evidence, to destroy the evidence. Because, yeah, and as I'm saying that, I'm thinking, okay, the mirror could have been broken when they flipped it over too, right? Um, let's see. So the grievances, there were a lot of grievances on the Rust set. And the people that are guilty in the Rust story, or the people that are trying to cover for those that are guilty, have a lot of trouble recollecting anything. So the I can't recall is classic evasion. And I mean, these people are so vindictive, these people that are evading justice. Okay, so I know I'm hopping case to case, but I thought of something last night that maybe you guys have thought about before, but it never crossed my mind, I don't think, really to this extent. That in the Watts case, the girls and or Shanann could have been taken away from the house before Chris Watts got into his pickup truck and left for work that morning. They could have been taken out the back of the house. There's that one window that was covered with a Mickey Mouse or Minnie Mouse blanket or sheet that there's, over the years, there's been a lot of speculation of what was up with that Mickey Mouse window. Something was up with that Mickey Mouse window, but I have a lot of trouble thinking that any dumb MF would take a full-grown deceased person out a front door in a neighborhood like that, dark or not. It doesn't make sense to me. It would make more sense that they would have pulled Shanann's car out of the garage, gotten the truck into the garage, and then put her in there in the garage and then gone somewhere so that it wouldn't be on anybody's Ring doorbell camera. Okay. The ones who come forward, let's see. Scammy and MC Ultra. So they like to come forward to try to tell their story, to try to control the narrative. And I have a hot tip for them. Not that I want to give them hot tips, but if they were to incorporate some remorse into their narrative, some of their own personal remorse, their story would be a lot more believable. So I guess I shouldn't say that out loud for all the perps out there. Just show some remorse and they'll be easier to argue your case and hide your crimes. So let's see. Chelsea Graham, that's so sad. Yeah, I have looked a tiny bit at that case. Let's see. Where's my mic so that Mookie's not on it? Let's see. Truth for Kylie, truth for them all. The minor wasn't broken in the mirror wasn't broken in the AWP video. Good point, Harsh One. So it wasn't in the car accident. It was in the flipping over. Really good point. You all have a great day today. It's Friday. So yeah, have a great weekend. And look up ketamine. No trace? What? Wow. That's cray. Very good to know. All right, you guys, signing off here. Thank you so much for joining me. And we're getting close to 2 hours, which is, about as long as I can go. I think 2 hours and 22 minutes is my longest video to date. Come here, Mookie. We can be on for the next half hour, just me and you, and then we can make it the longest video ever, 2 hours and 23 minutes. So what do you guys say to half an hour of me and Mookie cuddling? Okay. Lots of love to you guys. Love and light. Have a fabulous day. I hope you can get some exercise and fresh air and sunshine, veggies, protein, stay hydrated, be super kind to yourself, to others. Go out of your way to make someone's day or just to make your own day. Take a nice hot bath with Epsom salt and essential oils, or put your feet up and have a nice glass of seltzer water with, I don't know, mint leaves. We're kind of early. I mean, it's only March 1st. The mint's not going to be growing quite yet, but you can get some at the store, I'm sure. So, all right. Peace out. Light and love. See you on the next one. Have a great weekend. And thanks again for joining me.